Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Thank you very much for coming, making the trip. We're excited for this first breakout group. So thanks for being with us. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that really is becoming more critical than ever. How can brands make a meaningful and memorable connection using experiences with a customer? Today's consumers don't just want to see, hear from a brand. They want to be able to feel that brand, experience a product, and really have a connection long after that initial interaction is over. So my name is Dave Garsh. I'm on the strategy team at Ansira, and this morning I'm lucky to be joined by two experts in bringing brand experiences to life. First, we have Jake Krantz from the Premier Lacrosse League. Jake is the Senior Director of Partnership Development at the PLL, where he has been driving revenue growth since joining in 2021. In his role, Jake specializes in developing custom sponsorships with broadcast, digital, social, uniform branding, player endorsement, signage, and everything down to the on-site activation. He has been helping major brands like UBS, BetMGM, Dick's Sporting Goods, and our client, Rebel Bourbon, as well as many others. Before joining the PLL, Jake spent 5 years at CAA as an agent and executive, as well as a year at IMG. We also have Stephanie Conroe, VP of Client Partnership at Ansira. Over her 9+ years at Ansira, she has worked closely with Subaru on building experiences that turn customers into lifelong fans. So welcome, both of you.
Yeah, all right.
So let's ground ourselves. Why we're here, why we're talking the conversation about experiential marketing. We know that isn't new, but over time and over the last few years, the investment in this tactic has certainly grown. There was a recent Marketing Dive study that found 80% of companies are increasing their budgets for experiential marketing, and over 20% of companies are allocating over half of their budget to experiential marketing. Why? Because brands are really prioritizing a deeper customer engagement and connection. They want a lasting relationship, and to do that, you need to go beyond just traditional advertising alone. So, Jake, Stephanie, what's driving this shift? Why do you think this is starting to happen?
Want to go first? Want me to go?
Sure, I can take that. I think with a lot of people, there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of clutter out there, and so trying to break through and get into that in front of the customer more and more is incredibly important. Not only is it just brand recognition, but what matters to your consumers, and I think Subaru does a great job with that, and really knowing and understanding their customer base and bringing those activations to them and what they're interested in.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's incredibly crowded. It's hard to get the attention of your customer or your prospective customer. And when you have that opportunity to connect one-on-one and enhance the experience of a game day or of an event, you create a real impact, and I think you almost cut the line of grabbing the attention.
Yeah. Great. Well, Jake, the PLL has been doing some really cool things to bring the brands into that fan experience in a way that feels really authentic. Can you talk about how you help sponsors go beyond just slapping a logo on something?
Yeah. So we have partners that love our audience, and they get a ton of value out of highly visible assets, whether they be broadcast, 30-second spots, custom brand integration into the broadcast, virtual logo, uniform patch, on-field signage, etc. I think most of our clients get really excited about our wholly owned model and our ability to build 100% bespoke partnerships. So we own the league, we own the teams, there's no team owners, there's no players union. We control what goes into the broadcast, we control what the on-site experience looks like. We have a youth business, we have a philanthropic business. So we have a really, really strong platform to provide partners. So if we look at Rebel, for example, when we were working on that deal, Rebel's brand wanted to celebrate the risk takers, the rule breakers, and the noisemakers. So distilling that information, two assets I think come to mind are, one, the Rebel Bourbon penalty box, and two, the Rebel of the Week social feature, which highlights a player, a coach, a fan, somebody that exemplified the Rebel spirit. It's not the best goal of the game. It's not the number one play, but it's a Rebel. That would make no sense for Jack Daniels, for Woodford Reserve, for any other bourbon brand except Rebel. So that kind of wholly owned model and the ability to build something custom is kind of our secret sauce.
Yeah, and I really do love, you go to the event, you have the game, but outside of the game, you have this whole Premier Zone. So do you want to talk a little bit about the Premier Zone and how that activation space really leads to customer engagement?
Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't know, we are a tour-based model. So think of us very similar to like the PGA Tour or NASCAR. So we will go to 14, 15 different cities throughout the summer, playing 4 games on a weekend. We like to think of it like a big party, big concert, big festival. We invest a ton of capital and resources into the fan zone, which we call the Premier Zone. That holds all of our corporate on-site activations, PLL activations. You can get food and beverage there, buy merchandise. You can meet a player. You can test your lacrosse skills. It is a really, really fun experience. It's usually the first thing our fans see. And we have fans that line up hours before the Premier Zone opens, which sometimes is hours before the actual game opens. We really like that first touch point. We think it's really valuable for us. I think it's even more valuable for our partners that are activating on site. Yeah, for sure. And I'd say as someone who's been to an event, the fans absolutely love it. They spend hours there. And as a company helping a sponsor, being in that zone, the interaction and engagement that we're able to have with the fans, the conversations where we can extend what we're doing on the field, what we're doing with the sponsorship, but really talk about, again, why it makes sense for Rebel, not just being able to see it. It's been great from that side. Yeah, and we have a pretty high standard. Like, it needs to elevate the experience or we won't do it because of how valuable that is. And again, it's the first thing our fans see. And not every sporting event, not every team or every league is activating at every single one of their games like we are. So it ends up being, we do 47 games, 14 weekends of this, fun party. So we've talked about the games, we've talked about the fan zone. What's something the PLL has done recently that really surprised even you in terms of fan engagement? Yeah, so we built our own app. PLL app encompasses everything PLL in your phone, right? So you can buy tickets, the schedule, broadcast, player stats, read articles, but we have what's called PLL Nation, which is kind of our internal gaming for our fans, where you get achievements, you get rewards, you get XP and status for doing certain things, whether it be going to a game, buying merchandise, filling out a fan survey, picking who you think is going to win. It's super fun. A lot of our data shows that outside of the 46 games we play, our fans want more. So we have achievements. One of the achievement is a daily streak. So if you're able to use the app, sign in, complete some task. I think we developed the app 651 days ago, and we have fans that have a daily streak of 651. So I was blown away by that number, and I think that will continue to grow as well. That's what we heard a little about yesterday, just how quickly adoption is really taking off. So. Yeah. So we've talked about the Rebel partnership. Our Rebel Bourbon client was hoping to be here. They're actually down setting up another activation that Ansira is helping with at the NASCAR race in Austin this weekend. But I did want to share, and Jake, you can kind of talk us through these, some of the on-site and activations. So we have a sampling in the middle there that is going on within this fan zone area. And then on the left of the screen, that was a tailgate, mobile bar tailgate that we had in the parking lot for championship weekend. And I know what they would tell you is the ability to speak to people within that tailgate, the ability to have conversations about the bourbon itself, about the distillery. We had a video going. We could really talk the talk of the bourbon, but then bring it back to the PLL and why we were there was certainly memorable and
and then being able to get the fans to engage. So we were giving out gear and other merchandise in return for fans doing some type of social post, but just seeing their excitement around it and their energy was great to see for the brand.
Yeah, and I think 2 slides ago you showed the beautiful trailer that you guys built. Like, credit to Rebel for really investing in this and to go all out. I mean, you have PLL gear there, you have custom Rebel PLL, point of sale material or swag as we call it, and it's great. I mean, our fans love it and they think it's super cool, and they're starting to recognize Rebel. I mean, they already call it the Rebel Bourbon penalty box. I think it allows the brand a great opportunity to provide the product and to, hopefully create a lifelong customer.
Yeah. So sponsorships have evolved. Brands don't just want that logo on the jersey anymore. They want to be part of that story. Have you had any partners really push the envelope in ways that have changed the way that you and they think about experiential marketing?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about our Dude Wipes client. So for anyone who doesn't know, Dude Wipes is in the number 2 removal business. They're an adult wipe, and their thesis was to create a great product and then to invest a ton of energy into the brand. They thought very similar to the Liquid Death case study of people just aren't passionate about the specific products that we use every day. So if we can give it a personality, if we could give it some humor, they thought they could grab market share, and they've been incredibly successful. So knowing they like to be bold and brash and kind of out of the box, we thought our wholly owned model was a great platform for them. So one of the concepts that we ended up pitching and we've developed is the Shit Talk social series, where we interviewed the best PLL trash talkers. Really, really cool content. We had guys sit down in this beautiful set on a toilet with their uniforms on. And they talked about, how trash talk helps with their game. So player, X said he gets off the bus and he starts talking trash. So he gets into it. And player 2 said, I don't talk a lot of trash, but when I do, I'm just going straight for a 10. The moderator was our head referee, who kind of has his own personality, Matty Palin. So that was kind of the brash, check that box. We built a really, really cool kind of out-of-the-box on-site activation. You could see it there, this beautiful Game of Thrones toilet-type element where you could shoot for 2. And you got prizes if you were able to make the goal. But I think most importantly, what we did is their product is all over the Premier Zone, and we deliberately put it in the restrooms of the stadiums, which could allow for product usage. But I think it's a fun one. It's definitely not on my bingo card of partners that I thought we would work with. But to Dude Wipes' credit, their business has exploded. They've been incredible partners, and it's really worked, and they've seen a ton of value.
Awesome. Well, Stephanie, we did not forget about you.
Oh, darn.
Now you're up. Let's talk about Subaru. So Subaru has really some of the most passionate and loyal customers out there. What is it about their experiential approach that fosters such deep emotional connections?
Yeah, I think Subaru is very strong in knowing and understanding who they are. Subaru is uniquely Subaru, and they use that phrase a lot. And I think they really understand that when it comes to their consumers as well. So making sure that there's something for everybody at the events, whether it's the outdoorsy overland type things or the performance side of it with the race cars and the motocross in performance people out there. So I think they've done a really good job in knowing who they are and being uniquely them.
Yeah, that's great. Can you walk us through some of Subaru's key experiential events? What's their purpose, and who are they really designed to engage?
Yeah, so we actually manage with Subaru Subie Fest. So there's 6 that go across the country from coast to coast. We hit the Midwest. We go and we're really looking at the enthusiasts, the loyalists, the brand ambassadors that are going out and doing these things on a smaller scale But Subaru's like, how do we become part of this? So really making sure that we came to it and we bring what it is they're looking for. Like I said, there's car shows. We have stuff for the overland and outdoorsy people, every different type, and making sure that the fan base that we have knows that we know them and what we know is important to them.
Yeah, that's great. And we actually put a video in here to show you.
About to go drift around.
Looks like fun.
Yeah.
So Subaru owners, we know they really feel like a community, not just a customer. How does the brand build off that and use their experiential to build off that?
Yeah, like you said, they're not just owners. It's a community of people that come together at different parts and use these events for self-expression. So when you go to a Subaru event, you're going to find modified, painted, stickered cars in every different way. People too, ironically. And so using that community and being able to be themselves, they also have taken, like I mentioned, their own stab at it. So there's Subaru meetups all around the country, inside and outside of event season. And Subaru has actually taken a custom to that as well and doing what they can to be the OEM to customer face. And
To really help foster those
yeah,
meetups,
and really show that loyalist, like, we're here with you. We want to be a part of it in every way.
Yeah, that's great. My next question was going to be that, there are many brands that struggle after the event to extend the event, but it sounds like Subaru does have an approach to really making that connection, making that community extend throughout the whole year and extend into the future.
Yeah, I think one event can be impactful, for sure. No one wants to take that away. But having the repetition and the sincerity and showing that through the brand, I think gives a lot to the owners and the people to know that Subaru's there, they're in it for the long haul, and they know, again, who their customers are and want to be there for every step.
That's great. You've seen a lot of activations firsthand. Can you share a moment where you saw a real emotional connection between the customer and Subaru?
Yeah, so as mentioned, Subaru events are unique. We have people that show their brand loyalists from tattoos and of the Subaru logo, not just tattoos. And I did not experience this personally, but Mark Showmaker, who is our VP of Experiential, who is at the Rebel event right now, he was telling me about at Subie Fest, Florida in 2023, Ken Block was there, or I'm sorry, he wasn't there. His car was there, obviously he's passed. But he was driving his car to get it onto the onboarding so that they can start packing up, and a gentleman approached him and said, "Is it okay if my wife takes a picture? She's been at the Autocross event all day and is a huge Ken Block fan." And he's like, "You know what, let's do you one better. Jump in the car with me, let's take a little trip, we'll find your wife." Did that, and what the man failed to tell Mark was that it was her birthday. So he approached her and he said, "Look what I got you for your birthday." This woman had not only a KB43 license plate, but had, again, a tattoo of Ken Block, this idol, and being able to sit in his car and take a picture with this was an overwhelming emotional experience for her. So, having those experiences with people that just live and breathe Subaru is some of the great things that you see at all of the events.
Definitely made a customer for life.
Absolutely.
Subaru has such a diverse customer base. You have your outdoor enthusiasts, you have the racing, the pet lovers, family-focused drivers. How are they able at these events to really tailor them towards everyone in their customer base?
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to be able to tailor to everybody, but I think Subaru does a really good job of making sure that they do have something for what they know their clients and their owners, their community is really invested in. And so we've got stuff from, like I mentioned, the performance, the autocross, you saw them skidding across, the what's the word I'm looking for? The test drives where you can sit behind the wheel. I actually beat Pete Soto in one of those one time. So, and you know, like really getting the experience. And then we've also, in the last few years, added to that with the more outdoorsy as we're getting into the overland and really performance within the wilderness space as well. And for all of our pet lovers, there is always the opportunity to adopt a pet at a Subaru event because Subaru, as we all know, loves pets.
Yeah, that's great. Jake, you've seen a lot of activations and brand activations at the PLL. What is kind of a standout moment for you so far?
Yeah, so last fall we announced the WLL, which is the Women's Lacrosse League. Maybelline came on to entitle it, so it's the Maybelline Women's Lacrosse League now. Championship Series, which is our off-season tournament, was the inaugural games for the WLL. That was last week. We did two things which I really thought was cool. First and foremost is we set up a kind of a glam truck where the girls could go in, get their makeup done professionally, which was awesome. Really cool content, and it's turning the players into fans. But we did some homework, and we realized that a lot of our WL players are big Swifties. So we set up a friendship bracelet activation where our fans could go and make their own WLL friendship bracelets. And then after the games, a lot of the WL girls went to the Maybelline booth, and you were able to exchange your bracelet with them, which is really great. Create a lifelong fan forever and pick up some Maybelline product on the way out.
That's great. You work with brands across industries. What's one piece of advice that you'd give them, really to break through and create a truly immersive experience?
Yeah, I think it's to be authentic and to really understand what you're looking to accomplish on the activation. Not everything needs to be like monumental or groundbreaking with millions and millions of dollars in budget. I think about our former sports medicine client who provided AT, PT, and MD services for us. It's not the most exciting business to engage with when you have an endemic company that's showing off the new lacrosse stick or Champion who's showing off the official uniform. They were really focused on data capture and gathering emails and our fans' information so they could repurpose the work that they've done with the PLL pros to say, hey, if it's good enough to get Rob Pennell back on the field, then it should be good enough for you. Come stop by our clinic. So we worked with them and we gave them some of the best players in the world autographed uniforms or helmets or merchandise, and we allowed fans to raffle it off. So they'd run over, they'd give their data for the opportunity to win a Paul Rabel signed uniform or a Chaos helmet. It's not the most crazy out-of-the-box idea, but it was authentic to them, and it was helped gather what the purpose of the activation was, which was the data capture.
Yeah, I'd say data capture is definitely something we talk about with all of our events. How are we going to make sure that we are capturing whatever that CRM data is, and then make sure we're sending the attendee to the right place. So whether that's QR code or some other way to send them to a landing destination, and then how after the event do we continue talking to them specific to that event, and then get them into the general flow. That's great. So Stephanie, Subaru, we've talked about different types of customers. We also know that Subaru really has some pretty strong brand values around love, adventure, community. How do they ensure that these values show up within their activations?
Yeah, so we do the standard monitoring social media. We do a lot of surveys after that give a lot of feedback to the team on what to see, what to do. We actually, as I mentioned recently, have added more of the outdoorsy overland type features to the events, and that all happened because that was about 7% of the market share, or the audience that was attending these Subie Fest events. And now, since engaging with them even more, we've upped that to 20%. It's still a smaller segment in the overall Subaru ownership, but to see them more engaged with the brand has been great too. And we do a lot with, I know, your team and the strategy team to kind of pull all of that together, knowing where our owners are, what they're doing, and how to bring them in and what they're interested in.
Yeah, that's great. Anything else to add about really taking these events, experiences, and turning that into a long-lasting relationship, keep the momentum of the event going? I know we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, I think we continue to do it. The minute an event's over, it may be over for that year, but now the conversation happens with next year, and how do we improve, how do we keep going, how do we make sure that we give them a reason to come back? Yeah. Outside of just being the loyalists that they are.
And speaking of loyalty, a lot of, no matter what industry we have loyal members, loyalty programs. Something we see a lot in QSR is experiential and events. Also, I'd say in the credit card world, specifically for loyalty members versus the general public or prospects. Does Subaru do anything specific to their loyal customers, or is it really open to anyone?
So we have an ongoing conversation with Subaru about loyalty at every angle, whether it's the owner, the fixed ops, the events, and bringing them back. We do make sure that the loyalists know that we know they're there, and make sure that we're engaging with them. The team walks around, and they're really authentic, and make sure that they're authentic and know and show the interest that they have in the event. And I think that's something that people realize. They can spot a fake sometimes. So the fact that our team lives and breathes this all year round, I think is something that the loyalists really pick up on as well.
Okay, great. And what does success look like for the events?
So I'm supposed to say customer KPIs have been met, which is great, but I think, again, Subaru's uniquely Subaru, and for them, it's the smiles that you see on people's faces, it's the experience that they walk away, the puppy that goes on a road trip from Subaru, from Vegas all the way back to Philadelphia after an event. It's that emotion that I think is long-lasting from a Subaru perspective.
Yeah. Okay, great. Have either of you seen any standout experiential activations, kind of outside of the PLL? Do you have one activation that you've seen this year that really stands out to you that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm a New York Giant fan, so this pains me to say this out loud. I loved what Bud Light did with the Eagles before the NFC Championship game. They had a drone show over the Art Museum in Philadelphia, and I just felt like if, we all saw the content with that city celebrating, I felt like, bullseye. That was great. The drones were incredibly impressive. It reenacted former New York Giant Saquon Barkley's amazing hurdle and some great plays, so I thought that was A+. David, I'd also kick it to you. You're on the strategy team. Your finger on the pulse. What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, I mean, I was not there, but at CS this year, I did see, and this is kind of a B2B, we've been talking a lot about how we engage with our customers, but from a B2B standpoint, I saw that Reddit had a really cool kind of experiential activation. They were talking about how AI was coming into the platform for advertisers to use and really use in a commerce way. So as Reddit, the platform, goes from being just someplace to discover a conversation, they, using speech bubbles, kind of walked people through this experience all the way down to show how you can use the platform as a place to make a purchase for advertisers. So I don't think we're going to get to all the questions that we had. We were a bit ambitious there, but any last thoughts from either of you before we kind of wrap up here?
I think from my perspective, it's really, again, just engaging and knowing the audience that you have and taking that and working with it, knowing it and moving forward.
Yeah, thanks.
I think you hit it 100%. It's being authentic and it's finding a way to enhance the customer experience and build a lifelong customer.
Yeah. Well, I just add here, you know, at Ansira, we're passionate about this. We're passionate about helping brands bring these experiences to life. Our team has deep expertise in executing these activations. And if anyone wants to talk after this, we'd certainly be more than happy to talk to you about what we have going on. So please come and find us. And Jake, Stephanie, thank you both for your insights today. Thanks for sitting up here with us and helping us kick this off. So appreciate it.
Thank you.